Hi, everyone who's
Hello.
attending. I'm going to share my screen because we have a presentation. So if you give me 1 second. All right, so welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I know this wasn't our, what we had planned, but I am happy that you're here, and I hope that you find this helpful. We know that nothing can take the place of actually being in the school and seeing school in session and seeing the kids in classrooms. So we tried to put together, we have some teachers and we have a parent, enough people and pictures, and we have a video. So hopefully you get a feel and a flavor for the school. So we're happy that you're here. I've done a lot of tours. This is my first time doing a Zoom webinar. I've been in lots of Zoom meetings. It's kind of the new norm now. But this is my first Zoom webinar. So I hope we don't have any technical glitches, but if we do, we're just gonna go on and kind of move through them. We are going to be recording this. So please, just if you want to look at it after, or there's, you have any questions, we're going to take all the questions in the chat column. So we're going to try to make sure as much information is available to you as possible. Let's see. So as we go through this, we're going to start with introductions. We're going to go through this presentation. There will be a chat column open for you guys so that you can answer, you can put any questions you may have in the chat column. Hopefully we'll get to all those questions by the time we're done with this presentation. But we do have a hard stop at 3:55 because we have another presentation starting at 4 o'clock right after. If we don't get to all of your questions, then we will take them and put them in a document and answer them and make the answers available to you. You also have my email, Kathy Lasky, the assistant principal's email, the teacher's emails, everything is available on the school website, so you can also reach out that way. But we want to make sure that you have answers to all of your questions and you feel comfortable making your choice. So, just 1 sec. Oops, hold on. We're going to start with oops, there we go. First technical glitch. We're going to start with introductions. So I'll start. So again, I'm Michelle Schechter. I'm the principal. I've been the principal at Dunning. This is my 4th year, and I was the assistant principal for 2 years before that. Before that, I was a speech pathologist and a special educator at Fuller Middle School. I don't currently live in Framingham, but I did live in Framingham for 25 years, and my kids went through Framingham Public Schools. So I still have strong ties to the community. My kids are now 30 and 32, but I can still remember, like with clarity, when they went off for their first day for kindergarten. So whether this is your first child go to kindergarten or your last or your only, it's a big day and it's exciting. And so I hope this presentation is helpful for you. And I will say that all of the elementary schools work really hard to make their schools the best that they can be. I work collaboratively with all of the principals, and they all love their schools and they all do the best for their families. And I think I think any family that wherever they end up, I think they're almost always happy with their choice. All right, I'm gonna pass it along to Kathy.
Hi, I'm Kathy Lasky. I'm the assistant principal. This is my first year at Dunning. However, I feel like I've been here forever. We're just a great big family, and it's a very warm and welcoming place to be. Before I came here, I was a special educator and a general ed teacher as well. I taught kindergarten one of the years, and I was a literacy coordinator. I've been here, as I said, for a year, and I've really gotten to know the staff. I think you're really going to enjoy getting to hear about our kindergarten team, and welcome. I'm going to pass it on to Miss Donovan.
Hi, my name's Mara Donovan. I'm one of the kindergarten teachers. I've been teaching at Dunning for 10 years now, and in Framingham for 32 years. I've been at several of the other elementary schools. I live in Framingham, and actually my daughter attended Dunning before I taught at Dunning when I was at another building. And it's what I chose for my child. It's a warm, welcoming school. And So I hope you enjoy our virtual tour. It's exciting to be doing that for our first virtual tour. Welcome.
Hello, my name is Lori Casavan, and I am a kindergarten teacher in room 2 at Dunning. I've been teaching for 25 years, and 23 of them I've actually been at Dunning in room 2 in kindergarten. So I love it, obviously, and I have 3 children of my own. I have 2 first grade twin daughters, and I also have a 15-year-old freshman in high school. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Elena Figueroa Staroselsky, and because that is a mouthful, the kids usually call me Miss Star. I'm a proud product of the Framingham Public Schools. I graduated from Framingham High as well. I've taught for over 15 years in many different schools within Framingham, and this is my 2nd year as a kindergarten teacher at Dunning. Welcome.
Hi. Hi, my name is Jen Orcott. I'm the school social worker for Dunning. I've worked for the district for 25 years, I believe now. This is, I think, my 8th year at Dunning. It's, again, what everybody else has been saying, very warm and welcoming community, and I absolutely love being here. I'm going to pass it along to Ms. Chapowski.
Hey everyone, my name is Suzanne Chapowski, and I am the English language development teacher at Dunning. This is actually my 20th year at Dunning. Prior to teaching ELD, I was teaching first grade for many years. Have taught first grade for about 29 years, first in Boston. So love Dunning very much, and I'm really excited to be here today. And now pass it to Raquel.
Hi, my name is Raquel. This is my first year at Dunning as an assistant teacher, specializing with ESL, ELD. I graduated Framingham State, and I've been with Framingham Public Schools for about 5 years now, before at a middle school. So, hi, I don't know who's next.
Hi, everybody. I'm Marcy
Yeah.
Donnelly. I am I have 3 kids at Dunning. I have a 5th grader, a 2nd grader, and a 1st grader. It's been amazing for all 3 of my kids. My son, who's in 2nd grade, is on an IEP, so I've kind of seen both worlds that way. And the fighting that these teachers do, and the special ed and everything that's worked for my children, especially my son, has been amazing, and I'll be eternally grateful for Dunning forever. I feel like I'm part of a family, and I'm sad for my 5th grader to move on, but I'm excited that I still have a 1st and a 2nd grader to continue for the next couple years. I know you guys will love it if you come here.
And we are too. And we're excited that you're still here too. All right, we're gonna skip over that slide. All right. Kathy?
Yes, so at Dunning, we take our core values to heart. We really live them. We really, as a staff, want our kids to learn to be responsible, be respectful, be ready to learn. We really encourage this and model it. We have a Panda Paw program where kids can earn Panda Paws that they can turn in for different opportunities, like having an extra celebration or different events in their classroom. And we also just, it's part of our culture at school to really have kids be invested in learning and be a part of a community.
This is our school mascot, Bamboo, and Bamboo comes to many events, and the kids love Bamboo, and he's really fun, or she, either or. All right, Kathy.
Okay, I'm looking at which one. There we go. So we really are a warm and welcoming place, like we've said over and over. We are just a big family. Every student is an individual, and we really get to know our students. We want to foster a love for learning for them. We want them to be curious and engaged. And teachers really want to make kids know and feel good about themselves and confident to be a part of their learning experience.
your kids will have lots of experiences while they're at Dunning. You know, we do have a lot of culture at Dunning, which we are very proud of. We infuse a lot of technology into our instruction, and we've done a lot, and thank you to the PTO for this. We've brought a lot of technology, programmable robots, things like that into the school. So kids, they collaborate with one another, they collaborate with other grade levels, and they're learning a lot about technology and coding and thinking critically and being creative. So we've really tried to emphasize that with our students. And I think the teachers have done a great job incorporating that into their classrooms. Kathy?
Are we on the special education one?
No, we're on the our school, social emotional learning.
Oh, right. Okay. So in our school, we really work on trying to support kids' social emotional well-being. We integrate different kinds of curriculum into our daily events at school so that kids are learning how to get along, how to solve problems and conflicts, how to understand their own sort of self-regulation around learning. We use particular curriculums that all of the teachers have really invested a lot of time and energy into doing it well. Some of these programs are the zones of regulation and restorative practices, which we really value a lot in our school because it's really focused on teaching kids how to solve problems and how to communicate. So we've done that very well. And all of our staff, it's a common understanding, and our kindergarten classes, they start there. So that kids are ready to move on through the years at our school.
We also have, starting next year, the Explorers Before and After School program. Up until now, we've had Kids Row, and they've been great, but I think Explorers will be a good addition to the school, and they'll work with the school. The kids have access to large fields in the back of the school and 2 brand new playgrounds, which you'll see in a video that we're going to show. And then we have a very active PTO, of which Marcy is the co-president, and they are part of the school. I can't say enough for all the work that the PTO does to really make the school run. And I don't know if you want to add anything, Marcy.
The PTO is, I think, scary when you first come to a school, but the things that we get to do for the school, like the playground that we were able to do as community, and the fun run and all the awesome community activities that we get to do, make it just a gigantic family more so than anything else. And it makes everybody, including the parents, feel like they're welcome.
Thank you, Marcy. All right, so our students at a glance. We have approximately 430 students currently in kindergarten through grade 5, and every grade level except for grade 2 has 3 classrooms, and grade 2 has 4. We do have a kindergarten SEI beginners program, so 22 kindergarten seats are for our sheltered English instruction children in kindergarten. We have an ESL program throughout the school. We have the SAGE program, and then we also have a program for students with autism spectrum disorder. It's a K-5 program in 4 classrooms, and it's a great program. We love having them at the school. It's a substantially separate program. However, the kids are included in academics or specials or lunch as is appropriate for them. And it's I can't say enough about the program. The teachers are amazing. It's an incredible program, and I'm so happy that we have it at our school. This is a quick glance at our staff. We have a lot of staff that your students will come in contact with and will support your kids, in addition to just the teachers and the kindergarten aides. And I share this just so you know that there's a lot of supports throughout the day that are there to make kindergarten the best experience that we can for your children. Jen Orcutt, who is our guidance counselor, our social worker who's here today, she works with a lot of parents. She's there to support not only the kids, but also the parents. I mean, we all are, but you know, she's always available. We have a wonderful office manager and secretary. You'll see pictures of them. There's classroom aides, we have coaches, all of our specialists. So there's a lot of staff that are really here to get to know your kindergartners and really help them have a wonderful year. All right, special education at Dunning.
So our special education staff is an amazing staff, honestly. But I think the most important thing to know is that as a school, Dunning itself works hard to meet the needs of all students, whether it's a student with special needs or a student who doesn't have special needs. We really want kids to be experiencing an inclusive and welcoming, and like they're part of the community 100%. That inclusion is everything to us. And anyone who's been at our school would feel that. We have many different sort of models, and we meet a lot of different students' needs, and we have different ways of approaching it. So everyone's included, but sometimes there's pull out and push in services. We have our autism spectrum disorder program where students get what they need. It's some of the time they're in a separate classroom. Some of the time when they're ready, they're included in the classrooms as it works for them, with the goal of everybody being a part of our community. In our special education program, we have 9 special education teachers, 5 of which are in the inclusion classrooms and 4 within our sub-separate. We have social worker, guidance counselor, psychologist. We have BCBAs and an ABA special. We have specialists. We have an occupational therapist, 2 speech and language pathologists, and lots of other staff who are there just to support the students to make it the best experience they can.
So I'm going to quickly apologize. Hold on one second, Marcy. I'm being told that the slides are really fuzzy. I apologize. They weren't when we kind of went through this before. So, but this will be available to watch after. Sorry, Marcy, go ahead.
That's okay. I just wanted to say it from 2 perspectives with special ed. I have a son that has an IEP. He has pretty severe, what we think, dyslexia. And the amount that Miss Donovan was one of his teachers and went above and beyond for him and still does. But each teacher he's now in 2nd grade, and every teacher has fought for him. We've had intermediate meetings that aren't his year program because he needed them. And this year I've also been fortunate enough to substitute at Dunning, and I've done a lot of my substituting as in the ASD classrooms, and the teachers in those classrooms are absolutely phenomenal. They are amazing, and that program is one of the main reasons I wanted my children to go to Dunning, and I don't regret that for a second, because that ASD program is one of a kind and it's amazing.
Thank you. Kathy, do you want to talk more about inclusion services?
Yes. So, our inclusion services provide a range of different things that kids would need. It really focuses on students with moderate disabilities who have been placed in a general ed classroom. But those different services and supports might mean push in or pull in time, depends on what the kids need, but the ultimate goal is to provide it to them in their inclusion classroom. And there is such a nice relationship and shared responsibilities that go on between the classroom teacher and the special education teacher, that it feels very streamlined. As a student, I don't think students would know the difference. Those special education teachers being in the classroom in that inclusion model, it feels like it's just part of the way that the classroom runs. And I think that's really important because while students are getting the modifications they need and their instruction is being delivered by a special educator and the general education teacher, it runs very smoothly. And that's the way inclusion should be.
And we also have push in and pull out services.
Right. And as we, as kids are getting push in and pull out services, it's a really, scheduling is really important, and the staff really needs to think about how to support kids when they're coming in and out of the classroom so that feels very comfortable to them, that it feels like very natural. And our staff does that very well. There's a lot of thought and time that goes into planning those schedules, whether it be from the special education staff, teachers, or if it's from counselors or speech and language pathologists or the occupational therapist. Everyone thinks hard about how to do it in a way that kids are optimizing their time in the classroom. and that it feels natural to them and that there's a good transition plan. The aim is to have a very, by supporting them with those push in and pull out services, it will strengthen their ability to access curriculum in our classrooms and grow as much as they can.
And then we've talked about this program. Again, we love having this program, the Autism Spectrum Disorder program at our school. I'm so happy. I think it's in the 7th year. It's an amazing program, and they're so integrated in the school. We love having it. All right, English as a second language. Suzanne.
Hi, everyone. So I work as a English as a second language teacher, or we call it English language development. And there's actually 2 components to this. You see on the screen, it says listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So that's really our main focus when we're working, either we're working within the classroom with the teachers and supporting them. We also do a standalone when the children come to us, where we have our own curriculum, but we're always building on their English language skills of the 4 domains of listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And just really using all the modalities that we can, visuals and scaffolds, and lots of realia and hands-on learning to really build that up. And then when we work within the classroom, we are sheltering the content. So that's where the sheltered English immersion or sheltered content immersion, where we're providing the tools so that the students can access the standards and the curriculum that they're being taught in the classroom.
And here's some pictures of Suzanne in action.
Yeah.
Some other visuals that I'm thinking these came from your classroom.
Yes, so that's the charts are showing an upper grade. Claire Winhold is another ESL teacher, and Jamie Dobson, who was the English language development coach plus teacher. So again, lots of visuals, and you can see in the picture just some active engagement using as many hands-on and live experiences as we can.
Thank you, Suzanne.
Yep.
All right, so our amazing kindergarten teachers, Ms. Donovan, Mrs. Cassavan, and Mrs. Starr. I'm going to turn it over to them right now. So.
Hello. So these are also our equally wonderful kindergarten aides, Mrs. Feinblatt, Mrs. Knowles, and Mrs. Wolcon. And each one of the 3 kindergarten classrooms has the benefit of working with these aides in our classrooms for part-time throughout the week. And they are the ones who are with your children every day during recess, at lunch, and they are our lifeline to make sure that your kids are getting all the small details of what they need.
So this is the makeup of our kindergarten. Ellen, do you want to talk about this?
Sure. So these are the 3 classrooms at Dunning for kindergarten. And you can see that all 3 classrooms have a general education teacher, which is one of us, a kindergarten aide, the previous slide, and 2 of the classrooms are SEI classrooms, sheltered English immersion classrooms, and they have the added benefit of having a language assistant teacher, Ms. Cesar, as well as Mrs. Japlowski and other language supports. And then the one classroom has focused language supports and special ed inclusion supports.
A typical day in kindergarten.
So a typical day in kindergarten looks something like this. We start off the day with some morning work, trying to get the children settled into their daily routine. We'll go on to some academics, writing, reading. There are centers-based reading as well to make sure that there's some play-based learning happening along with the standards-based learning. Lunch, recess, math, special, snack, always a read aloud somewhere, if not more than one. And then our social studies, science, social emotional learning. This is just a very general overview of what the day might look like. In each of our 3 classrooms, we kind of move things around as we see fit, but the lunch and recess and specials tend to stay the same. So the whole grade is experiencing that at the same time. Also, if you're looking at this and realizing, oh my goodness, a writing block for how much time, you know, our lessons are very carefully choreographed to make sure that your child gets the right amount of movement, socialization, opportunities for self-regulation, you know, so there's a lot of moving and sitting and from here to there, so that it's not as if they're just sitting for the entire block.
Thank you. Arrivals and dismissals. Do you want to talk about that, Elena, as well?
Yeah, I can speak to it a little bit, but I don't, if I miss something, please jump in.
Okay.
So I think this is a slide that has a lot of words, and I think the most important thing to know is that your child is always with a grown-up at any given time. In the morning, if your child attends the before school program, they're with adults doing activities, and then a grown-up will actually walk them to where we usually meet as kindergarten students, which is outside on the kindergarten playground that you'll see once we actually get to go to school. And then at 9 o'clock, a teacher will be out on the playground. So if you're wondering what time to drop off your child, drop them off as close to 9 o'clock as you can, because that's when an adult will be there to supervise. And then then the teachers have them in lines, and we wait for the bell to ring. It's usually about 10 minutes. And then we take them into their respective classrooms and we begin our day. For parents that are doing buses, the buses tend to arrive around 9 o'clock, and the students walk directly from their bus, and there's an adult who makes sure that they stay on the sidewalk, and we're right there. We're like the first group to greet the children, and they come right into our lines. If you're doing parent drop off and you're driving your car, there's a parking lot in the front of the school that you can park in, or you can park on Frost Street. Unfortunately, you cannot park right in front of the school because that's where the buses are, and it's just not safe for our kids. So you have to actually get out of your car and walk your child to where we line up.
I would just want to interject for a minute. If you are taking the bus, or if you're a parent, if you're dropping off, the K team sends home like bad name tags with, it's identifiable which room which teacher they belong, your students will belong to. So that's especially important when kids are coming off the bus. It literally is all hands on deck at the beginning of the school year. And we take the kindergartners off the bus first, and we hold their hands and we bring them to their kindergarten line. So we make sure that they go from the bus right to where they're supposed to be. And we continue that for a while until we feel comfortable that the kindergartners know where they're supposed to go. And even once we kind of fade that back a little bit, there's always staff out there kind of monitoring the kids in the morning. So I just want to, we make sure that they end up where they're supposed to be, and they're safe, and they're taken care of every minute of the morning and the day. All right, thanks.
And also for dismissal, the same thing applies. So the children are always kept in our classrooms, and in the beginning of the year, we even have 5th grade helpers. And in fact, Marcy's daughter was one of our great helpers this year to hand the children from our classroom to the adult that's in charge of the bus line. And they're in the front of the bus line, and they get seated on the bus in the front. So there's, always eyes on them.
All right, we're going to do a quick video tour. It's about 2 minutes long. right, so as I was setting up this presentation, I was trying to think about if I were actually doing the tour, how I would like walk through the school. So obviously we'd start at our front lobby, and a lot of the pictures that you're going to see now were in that video presentation, but we just wanted to kind of slow it down a little for you. So we're front lobby. This is our front office staff. Miss Sabula is the upper left and Mrs. Pearson is the bottom right. They're awesome. They love the kids, and they greet them every day. You know, they help out in classrooms. They do whatever it takes. And the school, like, we're lucky to have them. They are a huge help and a support for me and the classroom teachers. And this is their office. This is, if you come into the office, where you'll come. I'm going to turn this over. We have some pictures of some kindergarten classrooms. So I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Donovan to kind of walk you through what you're seeing and what you might see that we don't have pictures of right now.
We'd like to thank whoever went into our classrooms since we've been out and snapped a few shots, because otherwise we wouldn't have this. But we, as kindergarten teachers, are like, well, there's some other areas that we'd like to highlight. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that too. This is just a puzzle shelf, but it gives you some ideas of the activities that kids have access to, both during free choice time and during center-based activities, whether it's literacy or math. The next slide, I think, shows part of it doesn't show our meeting area, but it shows some of the things we do in a whole group, whether it's the calendar every day, in a shared poem where we're doing shared reading together. And this one we were working on final S's in words. So we work together something as a whole group activity. The next slide this was one that we as kindergarten teachers pondered over. So someone thought it was a great poem that is displayed in one of the kindergarten classrooms about which reflects some of our values. And then I think the next picture shows some student work when it was the 100th day of school. We tried to come up with 100 words they could write themselves. So there's kindergarten writing, 100 words. They were very proud. I think everybody's family member's name is on there because they knew how to spell those. That was important. Some of the areas that were not pictured that we would like to show you is we do have cozy reading corners, and we have block area for construction and building, and dramatic play, puppets, housekeeping, those sort of kind of things that were not pictured, but which we find important and parents usually do. So they are in there too. And this just shows that the children have access to the materials, are really trying to encourage independence. So they know where things are, they can go get them themselves, they can complete an activity without always relying on an adult. So trying to build some of that independence and confidence.
Thank you, Maura. Kathy, you want to talk about health?
I do. So we have an amazing nurse at our school, Miss Hare. Kids come in, they feel very connected to her quickly. I'm always amazed at how many great relationships she develops. We're very lucky to have her. And in the slide, you can see, you know, she sees 40 to 50 students in her office every day. She might solve things like loose tooth, scraped knees. She tries to get them back to class so that although they love her, they're not spending their whole day with her. And she does have really good communication skills with parents.
Great. And then our cafeteria. Getting lunch, your kids will be guided all the way if you have any questions or concerns. These are, the woman on the left is Bernadette. She's our cafeteria monitor, and Liz on the right serves the food. If they come in, if they're buying food, they're guided into the lunch line, and the kindergarten aides are with the kindergarten students every day during lunch. So they're there to help them manage the lunch line. They're there to open like thermoses or anything, put straws in things. So they help the kids with lunch, and they're there for the whole lunch. If your child has an allergy, there are peanut-free tables where kids will sit and they invite a friend. So we monitor that. And the teachers are really on top of that. So I'm trying to anticipate the questions you might have, but I'm not sure. Hope I got some of them, but if not, put them in the chat and we'll answer them for you. So throughout the day, throughout the week, the kids have specials, one special every day, and they are for 55 minutes long. So Mr. Greenhouse is physical education. He's a bundle of energy. I wish I could bottle it. He's out every morning greeting all the kids, giving them high fives. He is playing music, he's dancing. He's pretty amazing. This is our gym. Mrs. Gold is really a talented artist, and she, for the older kids, like she does a comic book club. She's really, really a gifted artist, and your kids will make incredible artwork. I'm like always amazed by the artwork that comes out of the art room. It is absolutely incredible. And this is, you saw a picture of this in the video. She does this is all student work, and she puts it together and does this dragon around Chinese New Year every year. It's amazing. Mr. Morera is new to us this year. He's pretty amazing too. And he has a girlfriend who sings phenomenally, because they've posted some songs on our Dunning Facebook page that they've done. Like, he's incredible, and he has an amazing rapport with the kids, and he's a great addition to Dunning this year. And this is his room. And then lastly, we have Mr. Roberge, who does Drums Alive and fifth grade band. And Drums Alive is a program. It's the kids have these big, they're like exercise balls, and they have drumsticks, and they learn beat and rhythm. And it's new this year, and the kids seem to love it, and he loves teaching it. And he's pretty amazing, and he's a very funny guy. And his classroom is on the stage, because we don't have a classroom that for him. Actually, we don't have a classroom that's big enough to house all the exercise balls from Drums Alive. So he works off of the stage, which is great, and he does an amazing job there. And lastly, we have computer and library time with Mrs. Last. And the kids go in weekly, and they have read alouds, and they go on the Chromebooks. Do one of you guys want to talk about like when you're in there with Mrs. Last, one of the K teachers?
Sure. So, so computer time, library time, or media time, as they call it, is, weekly as a special. So actually we're not in there this year with them, because it's used as a special time, and we have our planning time. But what they do is they sign out a book, and they get to take the book home and check it out. They usually will go on to Chromebooks for a portion of that time. And then sometimes we'll put some STEAM activities, some, science, technology, some of those like B-bots or sort of STEM activities that we have invested a lot of time and energy into our school, and the kids really enjoy it. Other times we might bring cross-age grade buddies to come in to work with the kids during that time. So it's really a time that we can have a lot of flexibility with different activities throughout the year as the year progresses during that media computer library time.
Thanks, Laurie. And there's another picture of the library. So I want to be mindful of the time and make sure we can answer some of the questions. So we have a strong student and family focus at school. It really is a community. And I know, Marcy, you've already spoken to that, and I don't know if you want to say anything else about that, or anyone else for that matter, because it is a big part of Dunning and who we are.
I think one of the best things for kindergarten family coming into it, fingers crossed it doesn't rain next year, is our Boosterthon Fun Run. Boosterthon comes in, they send the most energetic, crazy, awesome, amazing people in, and they become almost like celebrities. Remember when my daughter, the first year we did it, there was Supersonic Sarah, and when she walked in the building and saw her by herself, it was like she just saw like the biggest celebrity in Hollywood. They learn every single kid's name in the 10 days I think that they're there. And then at the end, after all the fundraising, every day they come into the school, they have all these lessons that they teach the kids about being good people, about being good students, about being good partners. And then there's this fun run at the end, and parents can come and volunteer. And each grade gets to come and they get to do the fun run outside, fingers crossed, by the Walsh track. This year due to Triple E and last year due to rain, we've had to have it inside. And the first year we had a little bit of issues, but they figured it out and made it awesome. And then this year we made it even better. And Pump It Up Paul has been the last 2 years, and I think more than likely next year. He's amazing. He does our school dances for us. They help with the Dunning Dash and DJing that. They're just a huge part of the Dunning community as a whole. And then there's a bunch of other things that we do just to give more of a community feel and to get parents as involved and in the school as possible, such as the dances and different fundraisers that we do. But the Booster-thon is our one big fundraiser, and that's how we were able to help give the playground, do the technology that we do. The Booster-thon is amazing, and I think any parent that has the ability to be able to come, we also live stream it, so if you're not able to come, we try to live stream things so that every family gets to be as involved as possible. But myself and the co-president, Abby, love doing it, and Abby will actually have a kindergartner next year too, but she's a teacher, so she was unable to make it today.
Thanks, Marcy. All
And
right.
one of the things that, you know, one student thing that we really take a lot of pride in is our student of the month. Like we said in the beginning, one of our core, really focusing on our core values, every month we recognize those students who are doing those things, being responsible, respectful, and ready to learn. Teachers pick out students who have done an exceptional job, one per classroom, and we recognize them after one of our community meetings. And we bring them out, we take a picture with bamboo, give them a certificate and an award, and they have that hung up all year long in our lobby. It's a very exciting moment for students, and it really gives an opportunity for us to show other students and recognize the importance of, and you know, supporting our culture, our really strong culture at school.
Great, thank you. All right, winter sing-along.
Yeah, so basically we do, like we were talking about before with the family focus, we have a lot of events throughout our year, and this is one of our favorite ones that we do, where we have a winter sing-along, and we invite families in and they can see it. We also will live stream it for people with another concert that we do called Winterfest. It's kind of an annual tradition that we do at our school. We do lots of great things. The kids enjoy it. The families enjoy it. It's a really fun event for everyone.
And then we also, the end of year sing-along, which hopefully we'll have this year.
Yeah, this is a real highlight. We usually order, you know, shirts for the kids that they get to have, you know, with the Dunning School and the mascot on it. And we prepare some songs, that some of them that they've done in their music classes, some that we've done in our own kindergarten classrooms, and we integrate it all together into sort of an end of the year sing-along, again, where parents are invited. There's usually the highlight at the end where they put their sunglasses on to one of the songs we sing about the summer vacation coming and so forth. And it's a really great end of the year.
So another big celebration. We did have this one though, the 100 Days of School.
3 times, and it's my
Yes, this is from this year actually, which was great. Our 100 day of school in kindergarten and some of the other grade levels as well. It's kind of like a big milestone. So it's our first, you know, 3-digit number. We're very excited. We will do some projects. We'll send home some family engagement involvement projects. You can see some of them in the background behind the kids who are wearing their very proud 100-day crowns that they have 100 stickers on, in groups of 10s, and we count by 10s, and we count lots of counting, lots of projects, lots of great exciting things. And sometimes kids think it's the last day of school, although this year close, but you know, then we still, you know, talk to them about the rest of the year, and it's a really great milestone. It's a lot of fun.
And then we do cross grade buddies all across the school, all various grade levels, which is amazing. We have the older grades, the upper grades helping the younger grades, and I think it's a good experience.
For all subject areas. Like we started out years ago kind of just doing reading buddies, or, you know, you might have done a math buddy, but now it's really cross grade, cross subjects. We've got a lot of science, technology, reading, writing, math, and they just really love seeing when they see the older kids, and they are really friendly with them and their buddies, and they see them even after school or before school. It's a really well-connected school where everyone kind of is integrating with each other in multiple opportunities throughout the days.
All right, I'm gonna not go through the Explorers program other than to say they are gonna be at Dunning next year. And if you want to, you can look at the slide and it has information about them. I'm gonna quickly just talk about, Kathy Alaski, the assistant principal, and I have an open door policy. Like when families come, when they come into the school, if we are in our office, many parents just walk right into my office, and that is exactly how I like it to be. We do send home a weekly notes from the office with all kinds of information that we think is important, and I encourage everyone to look at that. But I cannot stress enough our open door policy. We are always available for parents.
And I think it's important when you see us in the building, we want you to stop and say hi to us. We want to have that connection. It's really important to us that we know who people are and that we're connected and having conversations with everyone.
Yeah, I love it when parents come into my office. It makes me happy that they're that comfortable doing that. So we really encourage that. All right, I'm going to stop sharing right now. That is the end of the presentation so that we can try to get through some of the questions. So I have not been able to monitor them. Kathy, have you been?
A little bit, but I think we can go through. Some of them have been answered. I think let me get to the ones that we can start asking.
Well, there is one I can just say while you're looking
Yep.
that Nikki had asked if we are required to practice shelter-in-place lockdown drills and how often this is done.
Okay. So we try to be mindful that the kids are basically, they're almost like preschoolers just starting kindergarten. So we are very mindful of that. We don't want to make them, like, we don't want to get them overly scared or worried. Would one of you, the kindergarten teachers, like to talk about how you handle it in your classroom?
Sure. So they're obviously kind of like school-based, district-based. So, you know, when they happen, we prepare the kids, you know, just to let them know, for example, a fire drill, we explain to them, we usually read some stories, we talk about, you know, the firefighters, the police officers, the safety, and how everybody's kind of keeping us all safe. And they're coming in just to kind of check if they see them in the building, just to check that we're, you know, being safe and doing our job, and to say hello to them. And then we talk about that it's like a, you know, a practice to get, you know, to get out. And so we go and we do that. We explain it's a loud sound. We kind of practice. We'll do a walkthrough at just of our class. Maybe we'll then do it with all three of our classes together, just to kind of before the whole school is doing it all together. The shelter in place, what we do is we just, same thing, we explain safety. It's a different kind of safety. There might be a wild animal outside. There might be some weather outside, something that they are asking us to kind of stay inside our school, and they'll let us know when it's sort of safe. It's about safety again, to kind of be able to go outside, and we'll, you know, talk to them about that and reassure them that there's nothing to be, you know, worried about, that we all know what's going on, and we'll, you know, communicate with them. We might read a story, we might kind of just show them where our areas are, and then, you know, we practice them throughout the year multiple times.
All right, a question. Do you have an estimate of how many seats will be available after the English language learners and sibling guarantees are placed? I do not actually, because I know that there are 22 seats for the newcomer SEI program, but I do not know how many siblings that we have coming in. So I can't answer that question, unfortunately. And I know that's a big one for everyone.
The next one that I see is, are students introduced to any sports during kindergarten? I think the sports opportunities that kids come in contact with in our school are going to be during PE time. Mr. Greenhouse is amazing in teaching those skills and having kids engage in different kinds of cooperative games. But that's how we handle it. We do it during PE time.
All right. How long is, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I saw a question about how we address consequences, or how we use consequences to address behavior. From a whole school perspective, several years ago, the majority of our staff was trained in restorative practices, and it's something that we try to use, which really is, it's about what the language we use is repairing harm. So when harm is done, or something, you know, something harm we would have to define for the kindergartners what that meant, but, and I'll let you kindergarten teachers articulate this a little better than I, but we try to repair the harm by bringing the people together, the person that did the harm and the person that was harmed, and have them do a circle. It's a restorative circle kind of model. So we try to match the consequences to what actually happened so that it creates meaning around the experience. I don't know if you want to add on.
I think I would just add on to that, as teachers, we see every opportunity as a teachable moment. So we want to also make sure that we've been very clear with our expectations. And we always take the position that, you know, if a child isn't showing us the expected behavior, then there's something else we can do to help them to do that, because we believe that all kids want to do the right thing. You know, nobody wakes up in the morning wanting to do the wrong thing. So I think we take that approach as well.
Yeah, well put.
So
I
there's
see two questions that keep kind of coming up multiple times. So one is about the bathrooms, and there are not bathrooms in our actual classrooms, but they are down the hall. It is also a one-floor school, so except for like the stage where they go up a small set of stairs to go to the stage. So it is one level, and that we walk down the hallway by the first grade and second grade classrooms, and then there are the bathrooms, and we take kids multiple times. We go together as a class. They'll go together in small groups with a teacher. We go a lot in the beginning of the year, and then as they become more comfortable with the bathroom and where it is and how to kind of go with the proper procedure, we go with a buddy and so forth. So that answers the bathrooms. And the other one I saw was about field trips that came up a couple times. So there are definitely different kinds of opportunities throughout the grades at Dunning to have field trips. Some are sponsored by the district, some are sponsored through our PTO. In kindergarten, we try to do one if we can in the fall, and we try to usually go apple picking or to a farm, pumpkin and apple picking, and then we usually bring in, we weren't able to get to it this year, but something from the Discovery Education where we can bring in something like an in-house field trip, and it's usually sponsored through our PTO for kindergarten, and I know other grades, you know, also do similar things.
And we also did, we took a class grade level trip to the library, and we signed everybody up for a library card, taught them how to do check out books to get ready for summer reading.
All right, so we have about 2 minutes left. I know that I saw the recess question was in there a few times. Did anyone answer that already in the chat? All right, so recess is 15 minutes long. That's kind of the district policy. In our upper grades, 1 through 5, we actually lunch is 30 minutes and recess is 15. Halfway through lunch, because the majority of kids are done, the kids will go out. Those that are not done get to stay. So basically they get 15 minutes of lunch and 30 minutes of recess. In kindergarten, they do a little differently because it actually does take them like most of the 30 minutes to eat their lunch. So they'll go out for the 15 minutes. However, we do recognize it's a long day, especially at the beginning of the year for the kids. So they'll have another afternoon recess. We really try to be mindful of that. And that will fade back as the year progresses. But at the beginning of the year, they get plenty of time to get outside. There's a lot of movement in the classroom anyways, but they do have an extra afternoon recess for the kids. And I don't know if one of you guys want to add on to that at all. We have another minute.
There was a question also about choice time, and I don't know if that was specifically answered, but we do choice time as much as possible for an SEL kind of block, social emotional learning, in addition to our recess.
So I want to thank everyone for coming. If your questions did not get answered, I'm actually copying all the questions out of the chat right now, and they'll be in a document with all of the answers. But also feel free to reach out to us and ask us your questions, because we will happily answer them if before we get this document ready for you. All right, thank you everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.